Sorry, I almost got teary-eyed there about Thomas, so I had to take a second to get myself back on track. So, rules. The old way of doing things. See, you won't succeed that way. Some of you energy workers out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about too, because now, like as before, some of you may have had to set up things just right and meditated so long, and just you probably had, and maybe still do have, a system of ritual of what you do to prepare to heal. And you're going to find now that you don't even have to do it. You can just heal. The energy's there waiting for you, and it's stronger. I'm sure you can feel it. And remember, we're light workers, light warriors, beings of love and light, and that means we've already won. You can know this is true by knowing that God is within you. You are within God. You have just as good of a connection to the source or God or whatever you want to call it as the Pope or any other prophet that's ever walked this earth. All is one. One is all. So now that whole other song, Run Like an Antelope, set the controls of to put your soul into high gear and run like an antelope out of control. Well, see, what that's saying is, to me anyway, reminding me that just because a path seems to be the logical one or the rational path, check with your intuition, because you may not be on that logical path. You may need to jump off that train and take a look around at the country. You may need to revamp everything, rethink everything, react to everything. One of my favorite philosophers is Alan Watts. He talks about a story of how a wise man is like a mirror. They ask for nothing, but they turn nothing down. They take what comes as it comes and react to it. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? I know, now it's magic mirror on the wall, but hey, so what's that saying? It's saying that if we can put that mirror up, we will reflect each other. We will reflect our strengths. We will know our weaknesses, and we will have to react. A mirror has no mercy. If you stand in front of a mirror and you have mud on your face, the mirror will show you with mud on your face. If you stand on the front of the mirror and you are all beautiful looking, then the mirror is going to show you that. You can't look in the mirror and be like, oh no, mirror, change the way I reflect. No, it doesn't work that way. Reflection is like a reaction, and that's important. I think some of you know why. But that's just one of those thoughts that I actually had, but some of you would know why. I apologize if I'm a little slower than my usual videos. I've been pondering a lot the last couple days, walking around town, walking around day and night, walking around the park, sleeping outside, really getting to know and see some of the conditions that people have to deal with all the time. What I'm doing on my path at the moment is going with the flow. You see, because when you let go of that rope, you fall into the river. Now, if you fight the current, you can drown. And at best, you just get up to the banks all wearied and out of energy. But if you can stay calm and relax, you'll find yourself floating, and the current will take you places to the ocean of consciousness that you would have never gotten to if you would have tried to swim against it. The Mandela effect is simply allowing you to be able to comprehend the possibilities and the things that are taking place and getting ready to take place. So, I implore you, especially if you're somewhere around year 2 or 3, you already know you're not crazy. And you already know that the world's insane. It's a pretty crazy world. I mean, to feel completely stable in this world would be insane. Think about that for a minute. But you also can realize that it's all balanced beautifully. See, you can't be anywhere else and aren't supposed to be anywhere else than exactly where you are right now. Now is all there really is. So therefore, you can't be late somewhere, because if you're late somewhere, you're not supposed to be there on time. If you're stuck in a car in traffic somewhere, that's where you're supposed to be at that time. If you're early to an appointment somewhere, that's where you're supposed to be at that time. When you start going with the flow and you start letting go of all of the old rules and paradigms that keep society so sick and twisted, well, that's when you see the universe really kicking into high gear, and things will just happen. They'll work out. Sometimes you don't know what the hell the universe is thinking, and you're like, what the fuck, universe? Come on, give me some better luck. But one never really knows whether it's good luck or bad luck. So, I guess one of the points I really wanted to get out in this video tonight is that if you're feeling down, if you're feeling alone, if you're feeling like you're losing your mind, lose your mind. Feel that loneliness and find strength in it. And feel that downness and that depression, because believe it or not, feeling sad sometimes is actually normal. I know, they want to just give you the drugs, the antidepressants and all that to keep you all happy and stuff, right? They want you just to go out and buy frivolous, useless shit to keep you occupied and consumed in this dazed and confused feeling. But no, you don't need that. Sometimes if you're feeling sad, it's because you're empathizing with something or someone that's sad, or something's going on in your world that's making you feel sad, and it should, because it's a sad feeling. And if you're feeling it, then it's right. If you're feeling anger, you gotta let that anger out and then transmute it to love. Every time I get mad at somebody now or get angry thoughts about anything going on in my world, immediately after I say what I need to say or let it out, I send those people love and light and patience and prayers and understanding. Because see, then I've transmuted. I've let them know what's in my heart and soul. I haven't put up with their whatever is making me angry. But then instead of ending it on that whole negative low energy, I do my best to try to send love and light their way. That's the best chance they have by waking up and learning. And it makes me stronger. You see, strength sometimes comes as it's needed to come. By the Mandela effect, making you question everything. And still not being able to be sure what the actual explanations are, well, you're gonna just imagine what we're gonna be able to comprehend here soon in the future. I mean, if you've gone through this, then I don't know if there's really much else the universe could put you through to test you and initiate you into being the love and light being that you are. Now, some of you out there are going to be like, yeah, well, some of these people are like pretty dark, dude. And you're right. Some of them are. But do you know what happens in a dark room when you turn on the light? The darkness goes away. The light shines through every crack in that space in that room. And if you're a little mouse sitting on the inside of the wall, that crack that you're looking through has light shining through. So don't be afraid, because all is all. So the darkness really just wants light too. And we'll give it to him, won't we? Sorry if this is fading, or if the video is fading. I'm not in my normal recording space, but that's okay. Thank every one of you for all of your comments. By the way, I feel you, and I can feel your when you comment, and some of you just make me feel really awesome. And I hope and I pray that you have strength and love and vibrations of positive energy flowing to you and through you and helping you. And even though we haven't met face to face, I feel like we're starting to be connected here. And that's important. It's our internet, see? You have to have that activated, but would you have ever thought that would have been possible to be connected with every person in the world telepathically? But now that you've had the invention of the internet and we've lived with being online for so long, well, you could totally think that would be possible. I mean, it's possible technologically, why not psychically? The Mandela effect is the biggest step coming up. And it should lead you to a path of love and light. If anything, at least spirituality. Because you're all more than human. I came up with a little saying I put on a video the other day, and this philosophy student comes to his teacher and says, Master, I don't see, after pondering this and meditating about it and looking into it, I really don't see how human beings are going to solve all these problems that they're faced with. And the master looked at him and says, so you've finally woken up to realize that you are more than human. And that's true, because you're spirit first. Human is just this existence right here and now, but we all came from somewhere. We all were born with all the truth we need, like a seed in our hearts, waiting to just bloom. It's an exciting time. So don't feel lonely. Look around and find your tribe. They're out there. Oh, and I'm glad I remembered this point, because it's a very important one, okay? A lot of people have always kind of bugged me about the whole be positive, not negative. And then they run away from their anger, and they run away from their upset feelings and try to just stay away from it and keep themselves positive. And I don't agree with that. I think you should face those negative feelings, and you should face that anger and transmute it to a positive, to a more balanced energy. Because if you don't, well, that'll tear you down fast. So if somebody does something, for instance, and let's say they're your friends, and let's say you have two choices. You could just either walk away from them and never speak to them again, and just let it go and go live and love. But that's the old paradigm. That's the old rules, the old way. Don't do that anymore. If somebody has done you wrong or done wrong or is part of what's screwing up society, directly or indirectly, we need to be telling them this. And not out of hate or anger, but allow those feelings to come from your love and from the intention of love. And then reinforce whatever you have to let off your chest to them. Reinforce then afterwards love, light, and understanding. See, they always tell people, and this used to bug me too, they tell people, you've got to learn to love yourself before you can learn to love others. Sorry, that's bullshit, okay? And this is why. When you're a baby and you're born, before you have any concept of ego and you, and have any understanding of that and what yourself is, you show love, and innately show love to parents and to family and to peers. In fact, you almost have to be taught to hate. You don't have to be taught to love. That's there. Little kids on a playground are 5 or 6 years old. They do not notice if somebody's black or white or Chinese or any other beautiful mixed person out there, because we're all really just mixed anyway. We're all part of each other, see? In the words of Sojo, we are the ones that put the boundaries and the borders on the land in the first place. See, Earth didn't do that. We did that. There's no reason why we can't be Earthlings. There's no reason why we can't be a tribe of light, part of a nation of love in a universe created just for us. But if you really want to learn to love yourself, then you have to realize love for others. If you love other people, well, that's how you're going to love yourself. That's how you'll know how. Because if you just try to start out loving yourself first, before you put love towards others, that's a real bad idea, see, because what you'll do is become selfish and greedy then. You'll mix up love for yourself for superficial, frivolous stuff. You don't want to do that. So what I say is, love others so you can love yourself. Sometimes, even in your darkest times, you're going to find that somebody's going to walk by, and it could be a complete stranger, and they're going to need you. And you're going to know this. And you'll be there. And what's so cool about it is, because you are exactly where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there, and there could be no other way, and once you realize that, you realize right at that moment, oh, hey, I'm here to help them. And you go with that feeling, and you feel good. And in a sense, that is loving yourself, because you're giving yourself something there that, well, you could never buy, you could never think of if you were thinking of you first. So don't put you first, because there is no you, there is no I, there's no me, there's just we. We are all together. And even the walrus saying all we need is love. So when you're feeling lonely, you don't. Know that I'm out there. Hell, I'm out there, and I might even be walking around trying to find and meet people on the street that are living with no food, no warm clothes, no blankets, because they're out there too. Most of you, I think, and I'm not going to make any assumptions, but most of you are probably watching this video right now, and you're probably warm. You've probably eaten something today. Even if you didn't eat as much as you should have and ate healthy, a lot of you probably ate today. And you may have lots of stress that you're dealing with on top of all of this crazy stuff happening with the Mandela effect. It's probably affecting half of the stuff in the rat race that you're dealing with, right? Well, that's also on purpose, because, we shouldn't be running the rat race like that. We shouldn't be running our society like this. Plain and simple. So, I ask you, at least for this next week, every time you eat a meal, think about the fact that there are so many people out there who are hungry and have no food. Every time you take a warm bath or shower, think about the fact that somebody is out there in the cold and they don't have any place to shower. And when you get into that warm bed, and if you're really blessed and you get to cuddle up with another warm body, well, think to yourself before you sleep, somebody out there is sleeping in the cold on a bench or on the ground somewhere, and other people are just cruel to them, and they call them drunks and bums and all of these labels that people like to put on other people, but we are all one. We could all be there in a second. Trust me, could. Most of the people that you'll find out there, actually, if you don't know this already, which I have a feeling a lot of you understand this, but most of these people that are homeless out there in our world today, they're not all drunks and drug addicts, see? Some of them are just people that have lost their jobs and their houses and their incomes and their money, and all of a sudden everything is taken from them. Ironically enough, it goes to the elite bankers, but that's a whole nother video. So think about those people and give them love. Send them love. Send them your vibrations of love. Send them your wishes of helping. And I know it sounds like, oh, well, it's just a thought or a prayer, but you know, thoughts and prayers are very important. They're very powerful. That's what Leonard Cohen say in his song Anthem. While the killers, he can't run no more with that novice crowd. While the killers in high places say their prayers out loud. Well, that's because they do. Prayers, whether they be to a specific God or a denomination or just to yourself as wishes and thoughts, are powerful. They vibrate. So think about and send love, even if it's only a thought. That thought will vibrate. That thought will keep vibrating, and it'll lead to conversations, and those conversations will lead to people who are on paths towards ideas that could help change society. And that's what the Mandela effect is all about, right? Changes. That's what awakening is all about. Changing perspectives, realities, and understandings. Change is a constant. We want to be the change that we want to see. So, if you'll all do me a favor, and then just at least for the next week, every time you eat, every time you shower, every time you get into a warm bed and put on clean clothes that smell fresh and pretty, remember there's somebody out there that is dirty, that has no place to sleep, no place to eat, no place to shower, no work. And without those other things, trust me, you're not finding work. And send your love out to those people. Start sending those thoughts of change out to those people. When you see them, if you are blessed enough to be able to actually go and physically hand food to somebody, do it. If you have a spare blanket that you don't use anymore, it's just sitting in your closet and it's cold outside and you know that there's somebody out there sleeping in some alley, you know where those alleys are, go, take it to them. Give them a blanket. Send them your love. Because anything is possible. This means that it's quite possible to eliminate homelessness in our world and hunger. Our world is abundant. All we have to do is change the rules. You do this by breaking the old ones and not expecting for those old ones to be the way you play the game anymore. This can be very freeing, very overwhelming too at the same time. But then again, you would never be truly free until you realize that your very existence is enslavement. I hope this resonates. If I haven't replied to any of you or any of that, please know that I am not the best about getting on to my computer and sending emails. I think I'm better at just talking to the phone and letting it do the work for me. But I do try, and I do read them, and they do send me very positive, loving strength and energy, and I send it right back. Thank you for listening and giving me your time. Wow, 30 minutes. This is a long one. I didn't expect it to be that long, but thank you very much. And know that I'm out here with you. We are a tribe. We are the revelation of the revolution. We are the ones that will send the wind raging through the night to bring in the sun the next morning. Speaking of suns again, happy birthday, Thomas. God, I fucking love you. Very proud of you. And in the words of Thomas, peace, love, and cheers. Namaste.